Hello everybody and welcome back to Flyout. My name is Will, and 1 week ago I asked you to submit your craft that you'd been making since the release of Flyout. And this week we're going to be taking a quick look at them. So we've got a couple of craft downloaded here that I selected from the submissions. If your craft didn't get picked, I'm sorry, there were so many submissions that I couldn't get through all of them today. But regardless, we're going to be having a damn good go at the ones we do have. Now, just before we jump into that, I do have something I want to show you guys which I made. But just before we do that, I would like to just say we're very close to hitting 20,000 subscribers, which was my goal for this year. So if you are watching a lot of my videos and you haven't already subscribed, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. So this is my work from a couple of days ago. So I need to apologize for this one. What happened was I was like, I will build a little practice stealth jet, and I'll build that kind of stealthy shape. But, you know, I won't ever finish it. I'll just do the hull, and then I'll leave it at that. And then I got really, really carried away with it, and I've built the entire thing with functioning gear bay doors and everything. It doesn't have a cockpit, and it doesn't have guns, but, yeah. If I don't show this off now, I'm never going to have another opportunity to show this off. And, yeah, I thought some of you might want to see this. Okay, so here we go. We have this nonsensical gear arrangement, which just doesn't make sense. Don't worry, I know. And I have done a couple of things with fly-by-wire here, which means that at low speed taking off, sometimes it can get a little bit bouncy, but once you actually get up to speed, it's relatively stable, and there you go. Look at the gear bay doors closing. Whoa! And if we just give her a second to build up some speed here, you should see that we're easily able to smash Mach 1 at sea level. So here we go, Mach 1, 1.02, 1.03, we're still accelerating, 1.04, 1.05. Ooh, is it reaching its limit? Not quite, hang on. Let me blast this and I'll get back to you when I know exactly what our top speed is at sea level, or close enough. Okay, so we seem to be leveling out at about 1.07 when we're not in a slight dive, but that's pretty nippy, and even at this speed we've got about 10 minutes of fuel, so that's not too bad, and look at this thing go. In the turn, I have got a couple of things to limit how hard you can pull, but even with my limits you can see we're easily pulling 10 Gs here. Anything more than that and we'd really just be killing our pilot. But yeah, I won't linger on this craft too long. Let me know if you want to see a little bit more of this thing in the future. Perhaps we can make a video where we modify it a little bit. But obviously, this isn't about me. This is about you guys. So we're going to bring it back, and we're going to land it, and then we will swap over to our next craft. And I think this is basically going to be the ritual for all of the craft. We're going to try the weapons a little bit. We're going to try the top speed, and then we're going to try and land it. And that's pretty much what we'll have to do for each one, because otherwise this video is going to be 40 minutes long. Okay, here we come in for landing. Now, the extension of the landing bay doors, the wheels do clip through them a little bit at the moment, but that's that's a thing for later me to fix. It was a little bit too complicated logic for 2 AM, which was when I was putting these doors on, so yeah, we'll deal with that at some point, I'm sure. But regardless, we're coming in quite high here for this landing, but that's not too bad, all things considered. We're normally too low, so a little bit of a break from the norm. We've got quite a lot of control at low speed, actually, because of these canards, which allows us to just be really, really careful, give it a lot of flair, hit the brakes, down we go, and voila! An actual landing for once. A little bit skittish on the actual runway, but I think the rear brakes may have a little bit too much force. But yeah, there we go. That is my, that's my plane. What have you done? Okay, in alphabetical order, we're going to start with the BV170, which is a craft, which is, yeah, this is a replica, as far as I'm aware, of a real craft that Blom & Voss decided to design. So, surprise, surprise, in real life this project was abandoned, but we can fly it out here in Flyout just to see how it would have done. So obviously we've got this massive wing at the front with 3 engines and then a single dude in the back there. I am so sorry. Just awful driving at the moment here. We are revving seriously high with these engines, but that's not a problem. It's clearly producing thrust, and one moment we should be up in the air, hopefully. God, it's got a long takeoff run. That's what you get when the wheel's so far back, you see. And there we go, up into the air, and she controls like a brick. Okay, I can see why the Germans abandoned this one. Holy cow, this is heavy. But I love these BV designs. They're absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know what they were on, but some of the designs that Blom and Voss came up throughout their time as an aircraft manufacturer are absolutely insane. Their Wikipedia page is just a treasure trove of images. Okay, we're going to get Beanzer here. I don't think we're going to get too much quicker than we are right now. It seems to accelerate quite well, but obviously with this much frontal area, with these little piddly early war engines, yeah, you're not going to go too quick. But to be fair, this isn't awful for a kind of World War II prop plane, especially one with such a weird configuration. Yeah, we're not going any faster. As you can see, we've got to angle up this much just to stay level. So it looks like 460 kilometers an hour is our top speed here, which obviously there are conversions for, but I don't know them off the top of my head. So we'll see if we can bring this thing back in for landing, but we do also have what I think are a couple of 20mm cannons here. They might also be 30mm, but we'll check once we get back in the hangar. But as you can see, no, not a lot of ammo for those. We are already out. Oh my goodness. This is really cool, though. Sometimes it's just really satisfying to fly these planes which don't turn like on a dime. Oh man. Okay, so I think we're gonna have quite a high stall speed here, so I do have to be a little bit careful on my approach that we don't go too slow. But here we go. We're coming in for landing. Now, I hope there are brakes on this thing. Otherwise, we may have quite the long run. I get the feeling that this is quite the heavy craft. So let's throttle her down. We got to deal with a little bit of a crosswind here, which isn't too bad. And if we just... the roll. Here we go. And touchdown. Cut the throttle. Beautiful. Oh my goodness me, that is actually very good. Very good at landing. And give her some brakes. And eventually, voila. That brings us on to submission number 2, which is, yep, it's called the Board 9500. I think this is based on a real plane called the Nord 1500 Griffin. But there's a couple of differences. There's two tails as opposed to one. But generally speaking, it's similar. There's a big old ramjet in the back here. Now, I've never actually played around with ramjets, so it's going to be interesting to see how this works. That is a seriously large amount of airflow. And we have missiles, so we can shoot down some target drones. And some 30 mils as well. Alright, let's see what we can do here. This is, oh my goodness me, that is a cool looking afterburner. This is seriously quick down the runway here. What on earth? Okay, right, I've clearly not had enough experience with these ramjets for what I really should have. Look at this thing go! We are getting some serious speed up. Goodness me, it doesn't look it, but this is absolutely rapid. That's Mach 1 right there. I reckon we could easily reach Mach 2 on this thing. Now, bear in mind, we still have our ordnance here, but we're just gonna bring it round down this valley here and just see what kind of a speed we actually cap out at. Because as far as I'm aware, these ramjets basically produce more thrust the faster you go. So yeah, that's Mach 2 right there, quite easily. This is incredibly stable as well, given that we're currently going Mach 2.3 at 400 meters. Mach 2.4, we are absolutely chowing through the fuel at this point. I reckon that's all she's really got to give, so let's pull up and let's see if we can find ourselves a target drone to shoot down before our fuel runs out. And there we go. It spawned below us here. Now, one thing that this thing doesn't do particularly well is turning, I must admit. We're going to be in the stratosphere by the time we turn around. But don't worry, we'll get there. Whoa, look at the speed and the fire rate on these. Oh, that sounds amazing. Okay, we have the throttle down low, just trying to save on as much fuel as we can here as we bear in on our target drone. Now, obviously, they are super far down, which would cause clutter, but we've got infrared, so we should be... wait, we can fire? Yeah, go on then. Really? I don't think that lock is going to work. That's so far away. Yeah, no, that didn't really stand much of a chance here. I don't know if we're going to be able to turn around in time to get this guy here. We've got another missile selected. Maybe not, but what about F2 with the guns? Oh, come on, slow down, slow down. Slow yourselves down. Oh, come on. Okay, we can do this, we can do this. We just got to get stabilized here and then put a burst of 30 mils in the air. Oh, nothing there. Give it a little bit of throttle now. What about... There we go! You don't regularly get a gun kill in this game, but there we go. We'll leave it at that. I think we're going to move on because we are rather pressed for time here. Let's see if we can get this thing back for landing. Oh, and before I forget... Countermeasures. I don't put these on my aircraft enough. I need to use some more countermeasures. And just before we touch down here, I want to just say that this was designed by Striker on my Discord. This thing is insanely cool. It reminds me of like a modernized version of the Nord 1500, kind of. The cockpit of obviously being all glass. I think it helps with that. It's really nice, but here we go. We're going to touch down. Once again, got a bit of a crosswind, so we just got to account for that a little bit. And we are going quite quick here, but that's not too bad. I reckon we've got enough brake force to do this. A little bit bouncy, but there we go. I lied about the brake force. We have no brake force whatsoever. We are accelerating. The engine, turn it off. Oh no! Use the guns, quick! Oh no! We're out of ammo. Okay, this isn't good. Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll just do the old. We'll do the old 1-2, I think, and just. Yeah. There we go. A perfect landing, just as always. I'm surprised it didn't break, actually. You've built a very sturdy aircraft, clearly. Oh, well, that tip of the wing did. Next up, we have the BV1 Robin. This was designed by Sicius on my Discord. Apologies if I've pronounced that wrong, but this looks utterly insane. So we've got kind of a flush cockpit here with some bands going over the top of them. They've added a little bit of 3D to that, which is more effort than I tend to put in. There's a massive 30mm cannon on the underside here. We got lights. We got a little fake plane shape on the bottom. 6 air-to-air missiles. Landing gears have these massive things in them. And what is going on with the engines here? We have a high bypass jet, which you don't see particularly often in a fighter jet, as far as I know. Okay, we do tip onto our back on the runway here, but we can fix that with a little bit of throttle. That's no problem. And we're building up speed at a slightly more reasonable pace than the last aircraft. Not to say that this is slow by any stretch of the imagination. It definitely isn't. And here we go. I reckon about here, yep, is takeoff speed. And oh my goodness me, she just wants to fly. Look at this. Ooh. Oh, this is incredibly stable. I don't know if this is fly-by-wire. I imagine it is, but I might need to steal some of these settings. Oh, this is gorgeous. You point it in a direction, it just stays. There's no wobble. And you can do really What? Oh my goodness me, this has been designed by somebody who actually knows how to build a plane. Got little countermeasures on the back here. The gun goes... Oh, it's not as fast as I thought, actually. Okay, fair enough. Now, obviously, I shouldn't be wasting that. There's probably quite a quite a lot of ammo that we've just expended. So, yeah, right. Let's build up some speed and some altitude, because we're not immediately the most fast jet in the universe. In fact, no, let's test our speed, of course. Now, this is non-afterburning, so I wouldn't be surprised if this thing caps out under Mach 1. Okay, we've been giving it beans for quite a while here, and it seems to bounce between 1,140 and 1,150 kilometers per hour, which is just under Mach 1. But given that it doesn't have an afterburner, and it can do this for 32 minutes, that is a damn respectable speed. Okay, let's spawn in a target drone. Now, whereabouts is it? There it is. Let's get ourselves all kinds of turned around here, ready for it to overshoot us, which we should definitely see, because we are not going particularly quick at the moment. Now, we're going to have to build up some speed, but what I can do is just launch off one of these IR missiles. Now, the sun is right there, so it's probably, yeah, going to get very incredibly distracted. Yeah, I'm assuming that's going to happen basically every time, but it's worth a try. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, not feeling good about that. That looks like it's lost track a while ago there. Okay, now we're catching up to the target drone. I'm going to wait for 3 kilometers, then I'm going to let loose another missile. We have 6 of these, so we got plenty to spare, so let's just fire one off. I'm sure there's a way to fire those without firing your gun, but this works. And here we go. It's homing in, homing in. Come on. That looked good, but no cigar. We'll try again. We got plenty more where that came from. Come on, surely. Yeah, there we go. We got one. Small update while we fly home. We are in a dive, and we have broken the sound barrier. Oh, the gear bay door's open as well. Of course the gear bay door's open as well. Oh, my goodness me. This has been a delight to fly, but hopefully it's also a delight to land here. Here we go for touchdown. We do have a bit of a narrow track undercarriage, so we want to be careful that we don't accidentally, roll over. We're just going to turn that engine off. I think the idle throttle was giving us a little bit of thrust there, and the energy retention on this is pretty good. So, yeah, we were struggling to actually bring her down, but here we go. Oh, good brakes on this one, as opposed to the last one. But there we go. Very nice. And, of course, a little tail stand just to show off at the end there. Up next, we have the F2, designed by Themera. Now, this thing has some pretty insane armament on here. As you can see, we have 8 air-to-air missiles here. We've got quite a few countermeasures, 2 jet engines at the back here, afterburning with variable area, and a gun here, which is a 30mm firing at a reasonable rounds per minute, but nothing too crazy. Okay, here we go. Now, let's see what kind of a performance we get out of this. I mean, it looks very, like Su-27, I guess, era. So, hopefully, we get similar performance, and the top speed, I'm gonna guess, is gonna be quite good based on this takeoff run. Oh, we got a drop tank in the middle as well here, so that's gonna be useful. Okay, it just kind of won't stop accelerating. We're nearly at Mach 2 now, and it just keeps going. But in the interest of not running out of fuel, what we're going to do is we're going to abort that. We're going to say, it's quick, and let's find ourselves a target that we can go and shoot down here. And look at the G's this thing can pull. Okay, spawning in a target drone. We've got plenty of air-to-air missiles to use on it. Where is it? Oh, goodness me, it's all the way over there. Okay, right. Afterburners, full whack. We've got to get close and quick here. Okay, here we go. We are rapidly catching up on our target drone now. We're going to select a missile, and let's be a little bit cautious about when we let it loose, because we don't want a million misses. We're going to cut down on the throttle so we don't make too much of a speed difference to the target, and launch one. Just give it a second so that our next missile doesn't target that, and maybe it'll hit. There we go. 1 for 1. Okay. Not too bad at all. let's see if she's any good at landing. The countermeasures on this are pretty mad looking. Look at them. They go up. The amount of condensation you get when you pull a turn in this thing. Oh, goodness me. Right, I have turned the engines off, which is a bit of a risk, but I think with the idle throttle it's going to be necessary just to get us down to a low enough speed. I don't think we have air brakes. Do I have the flaps out this whole time? Oh, that's a little bit embarrassing. Yeah, probably would have broken Mach 2 if I didn't have the flaps out, wouldn't it? Oh well. For it to nearly break Mach 2 with the flaps out is quite impressive, to be entirely honest. But let's extend the landing gear and forget about that absolutely massive oversight on my behalf. Whoops. Bringing down at a fairly low speed, and I'm not even scared about stalling out in this thing. I feel like the stall speed is about 180. Feel like it's really, really quite low. I'm pressing all the wrong keys. Brought it down a bit hard there, but down she is, and I don't think there's any wheel brakes on this one. Okay, you know what time it is. Perfect. Just ride on the missiles. That's fine, right? Next up, we have this big Japanese-style bomber, World War II era bomber thing. This was designed by the last air compressor in my Discord, and as you can see, we've got 4 big radial engines going on in here. Oh, there we go. Took a moment to think about it. But yeah, these things are pushing out. Game's having to think. A lot of horsepower, as you can see. We have nearly 6,000 kilowatts of power, which is pretty significant. And for 4 of them, this should get some pretty decent acceleration, if not top speed. This, like, I don't know how to describe it, but this kind of canopy glass, I'm always impressed by people pulling it off, because just such a big time sink getting that to look properly correct. And, that's interesting. The kind of aileron, or the wingtips there, acting as pitch is a little bit strange. But there you go. We're off the ground. This is pretty quick, I've got to say, for a strategic bomber. So I don't think we have any bombs in here. No, we don't. So we are kind of basically just playing around with the actual aircraft here, unarmed. So this is the speed that you can imagine it would be without any armament, which is fair enough. And then on the front and the rear here, I think these are probably 50 caliber machine guns based on the size of them. I think that's the smallest you can go with machine guns in the game at the moment. They make a little clicking noise. There you go. Oh, that's good fun. But anyway, yeah, let's beans it, see how fast we can get down this valley here. Alright, this thing is pretty nippy. With a little bit of a manipulation of the prop pitch, we can get this thing quite easily up to 650 kilometers an hour, which for a 4-engine bomber is, frankly, insanely quick. So, pretty damn quick for a propeller-driven aircraft. But let's bring her back and see if she's nice and controllable on the landing, because she does feel quite light while flying around, I've got to say. Okay, here we come for our landing approach. We are quite low here. That's kind of just my fault. But that's fine. We should be alright to get a landing. I just gotta keep us up in the air, so I'm going to give it a little bit of throttle here, and we can increase this prop pitch just a little bit so that we have better low-speed performance with these propellers. Now, all we have to do is just make sure we don't overshoot, give her a little bit more pitch trim, and drop the throttle, and all of a sudden, touchdown! There we go. Not the softest landing today, but it's definitely controllable enough that you could get a soft landing if you didn't suck at flying like I do. Now, I think there are wheel brakes here, but they're not particularly strong, so let's just turn these engines off here, and then we should not have to worry about the idle throttle moving us along. Any minute now, we should draw to a stop, in theory. Alright, landing gear it. Oh look, and there's the engines. And last but not least, everywhere I go, I see his face. Coulson has followed me into Flyout and built something absolutely dreadful again. Why would you even begin to come up with something like this, my man? And as it so happens to be, just while I was editing this, Coulson actually recorded and uploaded a video of them building this thing on their own channel, so that'll be linked in the description if you want to see this thing being made. Why is the pilot's head just sticking out of the air scoop like that? It's adorable. What have we got? We got radiators, we got a piston engine. What kind of air power have we got? Lots of power. That is a beefy piston engine. Big Snoopy up here with two 14mm guns in his fingers. He's given us the finger guns quite literally, and then he's got a little hat and goggles. I don't even know how he's pulled this one off. I've immediately broken it. Let's see how well Snoopy's Sop with Camel flies, shall we? I swear, you give this guy a tank building game, he builds a giant Among Us crew member on top of a tank. You give him a plane designing game and he builds a house with Snoopy on top of it. What even are your priorities in life, Coulson? What are you doing? Why does it fly so well? I am irrationally angry about this. This is stable as hell. What? This isn't right. This is a house. This is a house with a propeller engine strapped to it. It shouldn't fly. It sounds like he's clapping his hands together. He's just applauding the enemy. He's just a polite little guy. Coulson, why do you do this to me? If you couldn't tell, and if you don't know who Coulson is, we've got some history. Goodness me. Right, we're going to see how fast it goes, if I must. Right, for the best top speed, we're going to drop down this propeller pitch here, get that alpha R in the positive for all three values, and we're going to beans it in a straight line and see what kind of top speed we can get. I can imagine the drag is quite serious, so probably not that much. Now, one thing I do have to say is not many planes in this game I've flown have good rudder control, but this one, holy cow, it's got good rudder control. Probably because it's a house, but you know. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Houses don't have good rudder control. They're houses. Alright, well, here we go. I think the top speed we're really going to eke out of this thing is 433 kilometers an hour, which, given the shape of this thing, is quite impressive in itself. So without any further ado, we're going to do a hard turn here, and we're going to fly back to the runway and see how well this thing lands. It's just a car at this point. Well, here we go, bringing her in for a landing here. I don't know if Coulson has put brakes on this one, but hopefully so. Otherwise, it may be hard to stop this dog. Here goes nothing. Ooh, goodness me, we're all over the place. Not my best landing, I must admit, probably because I'm flying a house with a dog on top. And I don't think there are any brakes. Okay, we're going to stop the only way we know how. Sit. Oh, no! Oh, no, I feel awful. But anyway, those are the things that you guys have been up to, so if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like, comment, and or subscribe, and maybe I'll just have to make this a bit more of a regular thing. If you enjoy it, just leave a like if you want to see more of this stuff. I'm not going to give you a like goal, I'll get the idea, but regardless, I will see you in the future for more stuff like this, and for now, goodbye! And as always, a huge thanks to this channel's patrons: Badger Burner, Potato, CamJam135, Cody Ian, DJ Pete, Skavoon, Gummaster929, Sad Catchers, Casualty671, Last11, Mark Modley, Investor, Nicholas K, Rolsers Bucken, Ryan Brody, The Canesian Emperor, Zerasheim, and Zeit Wolverine. Thank you so much for the support.